Hello, welcome to the next little installment in the revisiting series. Today we're doing Mona. Now, I'm excited to revisit Mona because she was my first 5-star character and the first character that I actually tried to understand. She was the reason that I initially was able to do like a big number screenshot damage. It was like 50k or something, not so big now. But for me at the time, back in the day when I was starting out, it felt like a lot. And it was all thanks to Mona. We're not just going to be looking at her in a support capacity, but also DPS Mona, because I farmed enough where we should be able to level her auto attacks pretty high, like 8 or 9. So we'll be able to try out a DPS Mona, see how she holds up. Mona was one of the original characters. We're in 3.0 now. It'll be interesting to see, is she still viable as a support? Is she good as a DPS in the new meta? All that kind of stuff, we're going to find out. But before we do, don't forget to join me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Meejin, M-E-E-J-I-I-N. And you can watch my Mona roll around live on stream. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so before we get into building my Mona, let's just talk about what she does, her talents, her constellations, stuff like that. The crowning jewel of Mona's talents is her burst. If you're not planning to run DPS Mona, really her burst is kind of all you need to focus on. So I'm not going to go into like super crazy detail. Basically, all you need to know is there's 2 parts to Mona's burst. The first part is a bubble, which kind of traps weaker opponents, like smaller ones, like small Hilichurl, stuff like that, or just marks larger opponents that will pop and then deal hydro damage. The second part is an omen that will buff the rest of your team's damage. So the bubble part of her burst is very impressive because as you can see here, depending on what level your burst is at, you can get a lot of explosion damage. I'm technically level 11 because I have C4 Mona. We've lost a lot of 50-50s in this house. Technically, her skill is only level 8. I'll be leveling it to 9 today, so we'll get even more of a buff. At level 11, 841% of explosion damage. That's huge. That's why you often see when people are doing big screenshot numbers on like YouTube videos, stuff like that, they're using a Mona because her burst damage is off the chart. It's wild. Her skill is just this little, I don't know what to call it. I guess they call it a phantom. It's like a little guy. It's just on the field. It acts as a taunt for opponents, so they will focus on that instead of you, and it just deals hydro damage. And when it pops off, it will deal more hydro damage. Mona's normal attacks don't matter so much unless you're in DPS Mona. Because she's a catalyst user, they're all infused with hydro. Basically, you're just dealing hydro damage with your normal attacks. Pretty simple. As far as Mona's passives, really the one you should focus on is this guy right here. She gets a hydro damage bonus equivalent to 20% of her energy recharge rate. So energy recharge does matter on your Mona. So constellation-wise, as you can see, we have C4. So in terms of good constellations, C1 is very nice. It adds a little bit of damage increase for any reaction-based teams you will have, which often you will if you're running Mona. It's likely you're not going to be running her with like mono geo team, right? So this is an excellent constellation, buffs your electrocharge, vaporize, hydro, and frozen damage, which is all elemental stuff Mona can help with, being a hydro character. C4 is also very nice. Whenever a party member is affected by the omen, which is the second part of Mona's ult, their crit rate is increased by 15%. So that's a nice little constellation as well. C2 and 6 to me are more like DPS Mona kind of constellations. This stuff doesn't really matter if you're just throwing Mona on the field. Increased damage of her next charge attack. Chances are you're not really running your Mona using normal and charge attacks if you're using her as a support. So this is really just DPS buff. And of course, C3 and 5 are just talent boosters. Those are Mona's constellations. Because I have C4, I have pretty much the best of her constellations for support Mona. We've got C1 and 4, so that's great. I'm excited to check those out. Artifact set, we're going to be looking at my Mona set later and adjusting it because really the best in slot for her is Emblem. I'm running 2 Police Emblem, 2 Police Noblesse, which is like not ideal. Like I said, my Mona's been benched, so I just kind of threw on whatever leftovers I had. But today, we're going to be giving her la creme de la creme. I'm going to be stealing artifacts, and we're going to be doing the most we can for her. So right now the weapon on my Mona is full support Thrilling Tales. I was using it to buff my Hazo. We're gonna be switching it around. There's a few weapons Mona can run, but we're gonna look at that after I raise her talents and her level. Let's get into it. The raising part, I'm excited. Let's do the first part, leveling her up. We have heckin' materials, as you can see, because I do not raise characters often, I guess. We're just gonna go all in right away. All right, there she is, all done, perfect. I also fully farmed out the talents, so we should be ready to just go right in with this as well. I'm not going to crown her. It's not that it's not worth it. I just have a triple crowning addiction, so if I use 1 crown, I gotta use 3. It's a whole issue. Okay, so these are both level 8. I think I could maybe go 9. Oh, I did. So I did farm enough exactly to 999 her. I just need more nectar, so let me make that real quick. Sucrose, you gonna help me out? Kind of. All right, skill. And burst. Beautiful. All right, nice. So there she is, 999. All right, so team-wise, here's what I've been using Mona for. Basically just like a team buff with Thrilling Tales. You could use anyone who's a catalyst in this role. I'm not gonna explore that today because that's more of a Thrilling Tales thing than a Mona thing. We're just gonna go burst Mona. Let's look at that. When it comes to popping Mona's bubble, the team that works really well is Benny, Sucrose, and then a fourth. I don't know who. I really think really all that matters are Benny and Sucrose. When I was trying this initially, I was using my D-Luke back in the day, but really, oh, that's Hazo, not Sucrose. Back in the day, I was using my D-Luke with this team, but he wasn't the one popping the bubble or dealing damage, and I think really Benny could pop it much better and more efficiently. So, can we buff it even more with like a Kazuha maybe? I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. All right, so before we fight anyone, let's look at my build for what I'm planning to do. I think going Widsith is gonna be the best for that bubble burst. I wonder if Skyward Atlas is more of a DPS type weapon. I think Widsith is maybe our best bet. Widsith is an excellent weapon for her, and obviously the more refinements you have, the better. I'm interested to see how it pairs up against Skyward Atlas. I'm not sure which is gonna be better for this. I'm just gonna give her Skyward Atlas for now and see. And we're gonna go full emblem on the artifacts. Let me take a look at what we have here. So we are looking for obviously energy recharge and crit rolls. That's gonna be the best for our Mona. Now in terms of the sands, I feel like because we have Skyward Atlas on her, which has attack as the main stat, I think we're better off running an energy recharge sands. Okay, Beto's is better, so we're just gonna swap that. Sorry, Beto, I'll give it back maybe. So let me look at my stats right now as they stand. Oh, that's not great. She has a lot of energy recharge though. Here's the thing, you want energy recharge, but you don't want a surplus of it. You know what? I feel like I gotta steal Zhangling's. I don't know, that's not ideal. The crit damage is really not there. We'll test it out though. We'll see what we can do. Let's test it out. Mago Kenki. We'll go there because I like how he doesn't move too much. He moves a little, but a lot of these enemies be moving around like crazy. Okay, so another thing to note about when you're fighting with Mona and you're trying to pop her bubble, you need to apply whatever element you're going to pop it with first. So I'm gonna do Pyro. So I'm gonna do a Benny skill or a burst to apply Pyro first, probably a burst. And then I'm going to pop the bubble with his skill. So more Pyro. So it's Pyro, Hydro, Pyro. And we're just gonna buff with Sucrose and Kazuha. So first let me make sure everything's ready. Let's get a Benny burst going. Just gonna collect some particles here, even though Kenki's not feeling a thing. Okay, so we got everyone's burst ready. First thing we're gonna do a little Kazu ulti. And then we're gonna do a Sucrose here. We're gonna apply a Benny buff. We're gonna apply Mona's ult. Wait a few seconds before you pop it. Oh, it popped. Oh, darn it, I missed it. Ah, shoot. So when I first got Mona, I was having this problem as well. I was having timing problems with the ult popping. So let me try it again. Okay, so as far as her plain Hydro damage on this build, it's actually not bad. This is just raw. I saw 5k in there earlier. Let's do a charge attack maybe. Okay, 9k, nice, not too bad. Let's apply some Pyro and see if we can vape it. Okay, oh, 19k! This is like a DPS Mona build, basically, what we're doing here. Okay, interesting. Okay, Kazu ult. Sucrose ult. Benny ult. Mona bubble. Wait a few seconds to pop it. Oh, I didn't do it right. I didn't do it right again! No, I didn't do it right again! Oh, it popped. I missed it. I missed the number, but it popped. Shoot, man, I know you're supposed to wait a couple seconds, but I have timing issues with it. Something about that. I'm just gonna Kazu swirl. I'm not gonna ult. And then we'll ult with Benny, ult with Mona. Wait a few seconds to pop it. Go. Oh man, it didn't work. It didn't work again. What the heck? Maybe I shouldn't be using Kazu. When I did this in the old days, I did not have or use Kazu. He was not even around then. So, okay, 1, 2. Benny ult. Mona ult. 1, 2. Pop it. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so without me even touching it, it does like a fair amount of damage, but I wanted to pop it to make the big PP damage. How is my Hazo so close to death already? What happened there? Come on, Hazo. Alright, so I'm wondering if maybe we should be doing Sucrose's thing inside Bennett's ult. And I also just read something that says we should stay as Mona. We're gonna do Bennett's ult first. Then we're gonna do Sucrose's stuff. If he would come a little closer, that'd be great. Then we're gonna Mona. We stay on Mona for the 2 seconds. Then we go in with Benny. Didn't work still, didn't work. Ah, that might just been a crit issue. Let's try again. Hazo's out first. Bennett, ult, Sucrose, skill. Mona, burst. Stay on Mona for a few seconds. Then we go Benny. There we go. That was a little better. Still not superb numbers from what I was expecting, but alright, editing Meech here just to add a note that I've gotten slightly better at popping the bubble, but it is still a lot of setup for, on my Mona, a pretty mediocre reward. I just have to maybe look into the big PP damage numbers. I don't know, still probably doing something wrong. But I've gotten better at timing it, at least. I'm gonna switch up her build a little. What if we switch to Witsith? I just kind of want to see what that would be like. And I think in that case, we might need to switch Circlets. I'm not sure. No, this is fine for her. Okay, so let's try this out, just to get an idea against the same kind of a boss. Let's go back to Kanky. Let's do some vape damage, see what we get. Okay, 6k, I don't think that critted though. So the damage honestly, just with auto attacks, seems about the same as Skyward, not terribly different. Okay, let's do a 23k. Okay, interesting. So that is a little more than with the Atlas. Keep in mind this is R4 Witsith, but that's also R2 Atlas, so here again. 16k. Okay, so less consistent, I will say. Less consistent because of the you know, the passive. That makes sense. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Shoot. Man, I'm just not good at this. This kind of reminds me, I guess, why I benched Mona to begin with. I guess I just find her gameplay kind of difficult. Mona mains, help me out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. The problem I would have with this comp as well is that my Benny is going to end up dealing, I think, more of the damage. Like, when he vapes, it is way stronger than when Mona vapes. So I think by default, my fingies would kind of want to do this and get, like, that kind of a vape. Also, the thing with this team is what ends up happening is if I'm applying all this Hydra with Mona, trying to make her DPS, like doing auto attacks right, then he's infused with Hydro and I'd be vaping with Benny and not Mona. We're gonna Sucrose. We're gonna Mona ult. We're gonna wait. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And we're gonna try to pop it even though he's out of the circle. No, 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 no. If there's anything Mona gameplay is teaching me with big PP numbers is that these people must be working hard to get that screenshot because dang. I think my issue is this is not my Mona team. I think we need to switch it up so that I don't go insane. Let's do people who do off-field damage. Sucrose can probably stay actually, but let's do like a Zhangling. I'm just gonna give her anything so that she can get the set bonus, or we'll give her back her stuff later. I think this might have to be the team I would run if I was gonna do a DPS Mona. I just think that trying to do like a big bubble pop team, it's just not the way for me. It's just not as smooth. If you've gotten it down pat and you can do it like crazy, then good for you. I commend you. It's not looking like I can do that. I feel like it's gonna be easier with a team like this where we can kind of just have a bunch of stuff on the field and then Mona doing the damage. Let's try it. Let's do like a Sucrose ult and do some of the skills. And then let's throw it a Zhangling. And a Shogun E, and then a Mona burst. And then let's just go the heck in with Mona. See, this is a little more my speed, I think. A team like this, oh shoot. Although I just realized we don't have a healer, which is very troubling to me. Oh dear, we don't have a healer. I'm a fool. Okay, let's try this. Try this. And let's just go in with Mona. Let's skip her burst. Let's just do the autos. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Okay, well, it is more practical for me, I think, than the other team, though. Mona Diona might be good, actually. And of course, you know, obviously one of the best comps for Mona is a freeze comp, like with Ganyu. But I don't have Ganyu, and my cryo characters are severely lacking because I don't vibe with cryo so hard. So, that's just a me thing. We'll try a freeze comp after this, but I just let you know right off the bat, I am very biased. I don't love freeze. I'm more of a vape girl, as we know. More of a even electrocharged hydro stuff. Just not freeze. Let's do this. So this will also give us a little shield, which is nice. Let's do a Sucrose ult. A little bit of Shogun. Maybe do like a Diona thing. We'll get some EM from that. And then let's just go in with Mona. Oh yeah, that's much nicer. With a little bit of protection from the Diona. Okay, so that was better. Not great, but better. Oh, why are you still here? Sir. Let's go back to Masanori. Finish it off with a freeze comp. Gotta bring my Chongbong, and who else would be nice? Maybe like a Xingqiu. Let's just full hydro and cryo it. Sure. I just realized I don't have a healer again. I think the better choice would have been Diona instead of Chong. But you know what? We're here now. We're going in. Let's do a burst. Okay. The bubble pop should look like for like 43k in there. That's not bad. I think I'd replace Chong with Diona for the heals and the shields now that I'm thinking about it. I always forget I need healing. Alright, editing Meech here once again, just to say that I prefer to use Mona in the way I'm showing here, which is basically like Sub-DPS in a vape team. She does a lot of good damage when her bubble pops, as well as just being able to apply Hydro. As you can see there, the bubble popped for quite a bit on that one, what is this guy now? A dinosaur ruin guard? I don't know what they're doing. Listen. But I've been enjoying her in that capacity. Also, I found her useful in freeze comps for things like floor 11, where you have a lot of enemies who are trying to get at your ley line, and that's just very rude. So if you freeze them, they can't move. And obviously Mona's great in just about any freeze comp with her Hydra application, so she's been good there. Like I said, I still prefer Mona in a vape team. That's just how I've been using her and how I've been enjoying her, rather than doing the Sub-DPS Nuke thing. Though I will probably keep trying that in the future. In terms of the weapons, Witz's Skyward Atlas felt kind of the same to me. I'm not really noticing like a huge difference in numbers. I guess in practice, they might be pretty close. I didn't do any math on it. I'm not gonna sit down and like count every number, but they felt very similar. So most people are probably gonna have more access to a Witzith or refined Witzith than a Skyward Atlas. So that was interesting. I gotta be honest, this is the first revisiting where I'm kind of like still feeling what I was feeling before I did the revisiting, which was that Mona is great for support in certain instances with her bubble, but I'm not really looking to bring her DPS or even feel like I need to use her more, to be honest. I'm sure that someone will watch this and know exactly what I'm doing wrong, but to be honest, more than anything, I just love a smooth rotation, and I just feel that Mona comp, like I just can't picture it being that smooth. And like I said, this is a bias take for sure. I don't love Catalyst DPS. I just don't. I love a Claymore. I love something that feels heavy, that hits heavy, and that's just Claymore. So that's just me being biased. It is what it is. Okay, so that was interesting. I've been here for way longer than I thought I was gonna be here. I am sweating because my door is closed, my PC is hot, and it's a warm day. I've been here a long time. Yeah, I was just trying to get it to work, and I had a feeling like it was really working for me. That's not to say I don't like Mona. It's not to say I don't think you should build Mona. Mona is a great support. I still think she has a place in the game, especially for being a standard banner character. She does something that really no other character does. So she's unique in that sense. I just find her a little Akko Taco to use as a DPS. I will not be running DPS Mona in the future, I think. I'm really just gonna stick to support Mona. I think that's just gonna be less clunky for me overall, is to throw at her burst, her skill, and then just leave it at that, let her energy recharge and do damage with someone else. But overall, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not disappointed, I'm just not impressed. Still, I'm glad I raised my Mona because it was a long time coming. Like I said, my first 5-star, she'll always have a place in my heart, and with C4, you kind of have to. You gotta do something at that point, because that's just a lot of lost 50-50s to not do anything with, I guess. That will be it for this video. If you have any suggestions on how you use your Mona, what maybe I was doing wrong with my Mona, then please let me know. But other than that, don't forget to check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Meejin, MEEJIIN. So that's gonna do it from me today. I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye! Perfect, I perfectly planned for that one. Okay, yes, Ito, yes, I hear you. Okay. Yes, I know you're coming, I know. Okay, sir, I get it, okay.